We need to have an honest conversation about how spices and strong seasonings function in processed foods. Yes, they make food taste better, but they also serve another purpose that the industry doesn't advertise. They're remarkably effective at covering up problems. When you bite into heavily spiced sausage or a curry-based ready meal, your taste buds and nose are overwhelmed by capsaicin, garlic, ginger, and aromatic herbs. And that's exactly the point. These compounds don't just add flavor, they mask other flavors, including the off flavors that signal contamination. Let's talk about sensory science for a moment. Your tongue can detect 5 basic tastes, and your nose can distinguish thousands of odors. This system evolved to help you identify safe versus dangerous foods. Bacterial contamination produces specific compounds that smell and taste wrong, amines from protein breakdown, organic acids from fermentation, sulfur compounds from bacterial metabolism. In fresh or lightly seasoned food, you'd detect these immediately. But capsaicin from chili peppers literally overwhelms pain receptors. Strong garlic and ginger compounds dominate your olfactory system. Heavy spice loads essentially jam your contamination detection system. This creates opportunities for fraud and negligence. Look at which product categories rely most heavily on spicing: heavily spiced sausages, curry-based ready meals, barbecue products, and ethnic foods marketed to Western consumers who lack reference points for authentic flavor. When you don't know how something is supposed to taste, how do you know if it tastes wrong? You can't. Food fraud databases document cases where inferior meat, even slightly spoiled meat, gets processed with heavy spicing specifically to make it saleable. The chemistry is sophisticated too. Spice compounds interact with spoilage markers in ways that suppress detection. Oxidized fats, which should taste rancid, get masked by aromatic spices. Decomposition products that should trigger disgust responses don't register when your sensory system is overwhelmed. And here's the regulatory gap: there's no limit on how much spice a manufacturer can use. If they want to dump excessive seasoning into a product to cover quality problems, nothing stops them except cost, and spices are often cheaper than quality meat. What can you do as a consumer? First, assess base ingredient quality before seasoning when possible. If you're buying fresh meat or vegetables, check their quality before cooking, not after. Second, be suspicious of products where spicing seems excessive relative to the product category. A little curry powder is normal. Curry so strong it burns is potentially masking something. Third, develop reference points for authentic ethnic foods by trying them at restaurants run by people from those cultures, or by cooking from authentic recipes yourself. This gives you a baseline to recognize when commercial versions seem off. The uncomfortable reality is that spices are a technology that can enhance or deceive, depending on intent. In a trustworthy food system, they're purely about flavor. In our actual food system, they sometimes serve darker purposes. This doesn't mean avoiding spiced foods entirely, but it does mean maintaining skepticism about heavily processed products where spicing could hide quality problems. Trust your instincts when something tastes aggressively seasoned without tasting particularly good. That disconnect might be telling you something important.